getting ourselves ready for Spain. And we're going to be there for a little while. We'll be gone maybe a couple of weeks. And we'll see how it goes. And I hope to catch up on a few fish and chip shops while we're there, taking the big truck. Wish I could take Rapid, but not to worry. He's happy here at home. So he's got his own garden and everything. He's got a greenhouse that he can go in. And we'll see how he gets on. He's nice and secure. But anyway, we're going to check out some chippies and enjoy ourselves. Hopefully have some of this weather, this rare British weather. If you're not with the Facebook group, get on there. It's just called the Chippy Tour. And you can put your own fish and chip pictures on there and any sort of chip shop fare. It doesn't have to be just fish and chips. And even little clips, whatever. So yeah, we're going to enjoy this. I hope you enjoy it. And in the meantime, give my videos a thumbs up. Support the channel because I'm supporting the fish and chip shops. And with your support, I can support more of them. So yeah, don't be shy. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really helps. In fact, I'll hang on a second while you do it. Have you done it? Nice one. Right, okay, I'm going to get going. We're going to get all prepared and set up. All the gear we need. Check out the truck, make sure it's all done. It's had a full service. We've got the recovery set up for it, God forbid. It's going to take some fuel. It does about 27, I think, to the gallon. Diesel. From me and Rapid. See you on the next one. This was incredible. It was the first time we'd been through the Channel Tunnel. And it only took, I don't know, maybe half an hour from start to finish. But loading, getting on and off, took the time. Waiting a few minutes before it set off and then waiting again on the other side. And of course we had customs either side too. There was toilets on the train. You could walk along the different sides. And there was little windows so you could stretch your legs. Now this was incredible. Spotted this from the side of the road. Had to pull in and check it out. Let's have a little go. Walk straight up to it here. All in French. Of course. Go for a margarita. So let's just wait now and see what we've got. So expecting it to come out of here. 3 minutes for the pizza. How long's it been? Yeah, I mean that says CBD. And there's weed there at the end of the elephant. And there's a pizza there with CBD on it. All kinds of noise coming from it. There it is. Look at that. Let's have a little look. We stayed in Airbnbs on the way down to Costa Blanca, and then we stayed in some quite special ones. And I could easily live in this one. It was a beautiful area, although quiet, but that pool. Right, this is Jávea behind us. I think that's how you pronounce it. And there's a chip shop just at the back of these shops here. So we're going to check that out in a minute. Hopefully find ourselves with a decent chippy meal. But we'll soon find out. We're parked up, ready to go. In the background here, this is Jávea. And it is stunning. It really is. Loads of shops, loads of bars, restaurants. We've just had a cup of coffee downstairs underneath these rocks here. And, I mean, you know, if we were going to live anywhere up to now, other than Cheshire, of course, this is the spot. You know, it's absolutely beautiful. The price of property here, though, is extortionate. I say extortionate, you get what you pay for, I guess. But this really is the place to be up to now. We've got a long way to go down the coast of Costa Blanca. So if I lived here, I'd be in this water every single day swimming. I really would. Jávea, fish and chips, and it's beautiful here. It really is. Absolutely stunning, and you might just be able to see it behind me a little bit further down. Managed to find ourselves a little parking spot here. And we're going to get stuck right in. What a beautiful day. What a difference from the UK. Pickled egg. Now these are real popular in the UK in a lot of places. Not all over the UK, but just in some. So I'm going to cut it in half. As you'd expect, it's an egg. But a particularly good egg. Sometimes you use the vinegar from the pickled eggs and the vinegar from the gherkins and the pickled onions and things like that. And they put them in bottles so you can help yourself to those. But that's obviously not everywhere. God, it's roasting already. It's about 22, 23. I say roasting. It is from the UK. And look at the colour of the sky, it's blue. Not that haze, that zigzag lines all over the place and haze that we get in the north of England. Right, we've got a pickled onion. You all know what a pickled onion tastes like, but I thought I'd give this a go. This is your pickle. It's your gherkin. It's the pickle that you'll find on burgers and things like that. Nothing overly special, but something we just like to break down a bit of the grease or fat with that we might get on some of the meals. Right, this is my wife, Sue's. It's panga. And you'll find these in farms and native waters in Southeast Asia, Vietnam, places like that. And they are farmed an awful lot. But it's a milder taste, it's a freshwater fish, and you'll find it in more and more chippies all the time because of its price, mainly. And again, its subtle taste. It's happening a lot in Australia at the moment, but I'm going to take a little bit off the end here. I can only presume it's batter inside there. Oh, the batter looks nice. That is a nice fish. It's not as firm as I had it in cod. Nowhere near. But that batter is really nice. That's just batter that's got between the flesh. So let's have a look at mine. Mine's the cod and chips. Okay, chips look a bit overdone in part and a bit soft. So we get a bit of salt on, get a bit of vinegar on, a bit of sarsen's we brought from home. We've got mushy peas and we've got their curry sauce. But I want to get stuck into this fish first. Give that a bit of a look there so you can see from the big camera. But that looks like a nice piece of fish. It's got plenty of flavour. Batter's holding on to the oil a bit more than I'd like, and it's a bit heavy. Yeah, a bit heavy, but it does have a nice flavour to it. Let's have a go with the mushy peas. Oh, they look okay. Look quite nice, actually. Running my fork through it there, you can feel the chunkiness of it. You know what? They're really nice. Super subtle. Yeah. I don't like too many condiments in my mushy peas. Let's try the curry sauce. It's certainly got a kick. It's different to any other curry sauce I've had. There's also a sharpness to it. Yeah, that's really nice. Strange taste. Not a horrible taste. It's just different. Let's sum this up. Great location. Got tables and chairs inside and out. Really friendly staff in there. You can have drinks at the bar. You've got your takeaway, which is, you know, it has to be with a chippy, doesn't it? You have to have a takeaway option. Otherwise, it's a restaurant. It's a seafood restaurant, if you like. It has to have a takeaway option. And it has to primarily be all around chip shop fare. Mushy peas, absolutely lovely. Curry sauce, really nice and different. I'll be trying some more of that in a minute. Chips, okay. fish, really nice, but the batter, bit of a spoiler. The panga was absolutely delicious, actually. I know it has more of a subtle flavour, but the way it's gone with the batter seems a bit better on that one than this one. But the fish was thicker and a little bit softer. The pickles were pickles, weren't they? Let's have it right. Right, okay, we're at the Codfather, and we get plenty of Codfathers in the UK, even a cod mother, I think, or two, maybe.
The Chippy Tour, cruising the coast, can't ignore. With every bite, I'm loving it more. Saving the chippies, that's what I'm for. Yo, I hit the road, got salt in my veins. From London to Scotland, through sunshine and rain. Fish and chips in my hand, it's a noble quest. Supporting the classics, yeah, I'm doing my best. Met a bloke in Troon with a tempura squid. A castle in Wales where I had my bid. From mushy piece to battered Mars bar. A culinary Johnny, I'm a food rock star. I'm the Chippy Tour, tasting it all. Beef fritter scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fried dreams, keeping chippies alive, that's my team. Biggest fish, battered sausage on a roll. Fish cakes so good they'll nourish your soul. Squid so crispy, prawns in a crunch. A battered mushroom makes the perfect brunch. Deep fried pizza, yeah, wacky delight. Curry sauce pouring tartar inside.
It's great. We're on the way down to Moraira. I think I said that right then. And little lay-by here. A few shops in there. And the menu set up, there's no menu on the board. So you'll go in and it looks like a cafe, a restaurant type of thing. And your menus are on clipboards. Because you can eat in or outside, under cover. And I think that's probably the way the majority of people go. I wouldn't have thought, going off that they get many orders for a takeaway. And I don't know whether they do delivery or not. But anyway, on first appearances, it looked like a cosy little shop, a cosy little restaurant. And the owners are from Liverpool, and I believe they live locally. They're not here today, according to the staff. But they've got all sort of memorabilia up there, the Beatles stuff and the Mersey and all that kind of thing going on. And which is nice. It sort of adds a little bit of character to the shop, or the restaurant, I should say. So, yeah, interesting. As my wife's from Liverpool, of course, and I'm from Manchester. And we sort of met in the middle. We're going to tuck into some of this stuff now, straight off the bat. Love the packaging. It's the first time I've seen all paper and cardboard packaging. They can't be, can they? But they are. Cardboard and paper packaging since we've been here in Spain. Well, in the takeaway. So what we've got here, we've got salt and pepper chicken. For all those who've been saying, you don't get salt and pepper at a chippy, you even get salt and pepper at a chippy here in Spain. So I'm going to have a little go at that. It's not a Chinese. That's my first O in Spain. That is absolutely delicious. The chicken, proper chicken, and it's moist. And the salt and pepper seasoning are special. Oh. We've got salt and pepper, chips, again, we're at a chippy. And we've got salt and pepper. I can't remember who it was that said to me that, you know, salt and pepper's a bit of a strange one. And I said, well, this is what we get in our chippies. In the north of England anyway, or at least Merseyside, Manchester way. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Fabulous. The chips have got a crunch to them. There's plenty of salt and vinegar going on there. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's delicious. She won't miss one more. I really didn't think I'd get my salt and pepper fix in a chippy in Spain. I really didn't, but there it is. So that was fabulous. That was a real treat. Now, I've ordered a small chips for me. Again, cardboard packaging. Yeah, they're great. Got a firmness, still breaking through that crispiness. And there's crispies in there. Cod. This will be the big one. This will be the big tester. Well, so far, so good. It looks great. Doesn't look particularly thick, but it's making up for it on the length there. I squeeze a lemon, so let's get that on there. We've got their in-house tartar sauce. I'm going to give that a little try. They're not all equal, you know that. It's got the caper going on in there. Oh, it's a shame there's not very much of it. I mean, it's small. Let's break this cod open. Oh, look at that. Hang on a minute. Let's get some sarsons on here. Plenty more salt, just ordinary table salt. And I'm going to go for it, now that I've made it all wet. Look at that. That is delicious. I did look at the reviews for this as I was trying to find places, and very mixed reviews. Some not very good reviews, some great reviews. So I was expecting something sort of in the middle there. I was expecting, but I can never fully expect to go off of all those reviews. Nobody can. Nobody can, even mine. Your tastes are going to be different. I can only give you my professional opinion. And this is delicious. Let's get some of that tartar on here. That batter is so light. I'm going to close that up a minute. I just want to try their curry. Their in-house curry and mushy cheese. You know, I really like the packaging. Do you see how secure that was? It wasn't just the lid that sometimes comes open during the takeaway. It was the elastic band and the paper. So that's great. Really is good. So let's go with these mushy peas. Oh, just looking at them, you know that's how I like my mushy peas. God, they're hot. You can see behind me. Shop is just behind me, the Codfather. And they've got the tables out there. It's a great little setting. Bit noisy with the traffic here for filming. Well, that's about it. These peas are delicious. Let's try them with a chip. I was told, yeah, that here, from the previous chippy, a chip is a chip. A potato is a potato. It's not really a case of we get sort of Maris Piper or King Edwards and all that kind of thing. You just get what's going. And I can appreciate that. So the packaging is a big plus for me, that. Let's go with this curry. Love this. I love the way they've done that with the elastic band and the paper. Sure. Someone will go, yeah, but too fiddly, isn't it? Or so you're always going to get them, aren't you? First appearances look very wet. So I'll give it a stir. Very wet and quite mild. It's nice, but it's just that wetness about. And it is quite mild. So it's not really sticking proper, nice and thick to a chip. But I'm presuming they've got to cater for tastes. I've got a can of pop, and I never get cans of pop, never. But it's so warm and nice here. And my wife went for the iced tea, so I've gone with that. I don't normally bother with the tea. Isn't it funny that when people laugh at people going for Pepsi Max, Diet Coke, something like that? Well, I do if I'm having a can of pop normally. And it's not because I'm trying to think of the weight loss, obviously. It's just less sweet. I don't like that sweetness, that sugar, all sugar. So it's a good option. And I think a lot of people are like that. So I'm going to finish this off now with my wife. And we're going to go down to the beach, fabulous here. And in Moraira. I've lost it now. Right, okay, we're in Moraira. And it is on the coast of Costa Blanca. And behind us, you can just see in the distance, is fishy.
But every shop story, it cuts kind of deep. As chippies fade away, it's hard not to weep. Oh, the landscapes I see, the people I meet. Seaside towns, cobble streets under my feet. The ups and downs, but I'll never despair. Gotta cherish these treasures, handle with care. On the Chippy Tour, tasted it all. Beef fritters, scraps, yeah, I answer the call.
We've got a restaurant inside, well, for seating, inside or outside, which is nice. You go in to the takeaway by going upstairs, and it's just there in front of you. And then you go and wait outside while they bring out your order. So they had plenty of choice on there, plenty of traditional choices. It wasn't built up on pizzas and burgers and chicken and all that kind of stuff and Chinese food with it. It was all about traditional food, and it looked great. Going for a hake as well, because I've not actually tried fish battered hake. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Hake and chips, a standard portion, which looks pretty decent. And it's broken apart there, so this is my wife's choice. Let's give it a go. And it's a beer batter. So I'm going to pass that over to my wife so she can enjoy it. Very tasty coleslaw. So let's get into this. Now, what I saw of the reviews was pretty good. It was good. Let's give that a try. Well, that is nice. Now, you know that you usually get quite a strong taste, a strong flavour of mayonnaise. You're not getting that with that. It's a creamier kind of taste, a creamier texture as well. It's lovely, and the vegetables in there are crunchy. Yeah, that's a nice coleslaw. I recommend that if you get down there. I've pinched a bit more of this hake because I wanted to dissect it a bit. Now the batter is lovely. Look at that. Nice and light. Now this hake, you can smell the freshness in that. It's a bit more earthy. That's the best way to describe it, really. And it's meaty. It really is meaty, not mushy at all. So that's nice. But it really goes well with that batter. Now, this is my large cod and chips. And those chips look spot on. You can see that there. Oh, that looks like a nice chunky piece of cod. So I'm going to get a bit more salt on. I'm going to get some sarsens on. Normally do it the other way around, but hey. And I'm going to break a piece of this cod off here. Again, that batter. Let's go with some of this flesh. It's chunky. I just want to get stuck in. It looks absolutely fabulous. Let's try these chips. The chips look great. The chips look like they were cut with a press. Some nice crispy bits. Some decent long ones, all kinds of misshapes like I like. Absolutely delicious. Let's have a look at their tartar sauce. They get a little bit of that on the fork. You can see the capers in there. Not as tarty as I'd like. I do with a little bit more of a kick. But it is nice. Again, whatever mayonnaise they are using for these, it's creamy and thick and lovely. Let's get a bit more of this cod in there. Look at that. It does complement the fish. So far, it's so good. Oh, that's some weight in that. And you know how I like my mushy peas? I like them thick. And look at that. You know what? This is a big surprise for me because I wasn't expecting great chippies from Spain. I just wasn't. Okay, the owners are likely had their own chippies in the UK at some point. They are fabulous. Hardly any seasoning in them at all. Just ask for a battered sausage. I've got a feeling that they provided a battered sausage and chips, and we don't need the chips. So yeah, we bought another portion of chips. So that's not so good. Should we just ask for a battered sausage? But maybe they only do the meals. So let's have a little try of it anyway. Again, it looks like they're beer batter. Sausage breaks apart nicely. Sausage is very firm. Maybe a little too firm, but it seems like a good quality sausage. So okay, let's break this down a little bit. The hake was delicious. You know, it was a real surprise that, because I haven't had battered hake. And I know some people frown on it. It should be cod or it should be haddock. The battered hake was delicious. I wouldn't shy away from it again. If it was on the menu, there's every chance I could get it. If the price was a lot cheaper than the cod or the haddock, say. Then we go to the cod and chips. Delicious. Really was. I'm going to finish that off in a minute. I can't wait. Mushy peas, spot on. Tartar sauce, really nice. Coleslaw, really nice. Chips were great. Battered sausage. It was a good battered sausage. Right, okay, now we're in Benidorm and it's heaving. It really is heaving. I couldn't live in Benidorm. There's just no way on God's green earth could I live in Benidorm.
Deep fried dreams, keeping chippies alive, that's my team. So here's to the chippies, let's keep them alive. A heritage feast we need to survive. From batter to chips, I'm here to explore. Oh, nah, 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 I'm the Chippy Tour. I'm the Chippy Tour, tasting it all.
But we're at Ray's, and someone said this was Ray's, the original Ray's. But there's another Ray's, Ray's 1, further down. This was Ray's Chippy, or is Ray's Chippy, but it's also known as the Duke of Wellington. So there's a bit of confusion there. So let's get some chatting doing in the comments and see what you can dig up about it, because we have no idea. Because the owners here say they've been here for a couple of years. Before that, they were in the old town for 10 years, but it still comes up on Google as Ray's. So anyway, let's check it out. First thing we're going to go for is the fish and chips. So let's have a little look at that. Well, there's plenty of fish going on in there. You can see that there. and it's cod. Batter looks nice and light, straight off. Okay, chips look really nice. Let's give it a go. So we've come to a place next door to Ray's, right next door. That's shut for today. We couldn't set this up in Ray's or the Duke of Wellington. Like I say, let us know what's going on. Because they had the music on and they would have shut any sound down. YouTube would have shut any sound down. Okay, it's a nice piece of fish. It's not a lot of flavour in the batter, but it's also got a sweetness to it. And I'm just going to pass a little bit onto my good wife there, while I put a little bit more salt and vinegar and a bit more salt. And we're going to give it another go. Okay, let's have a look at these chips. Oh, these chips in this container look a little bit worse for wear. There's some very dry ones. There's some fresh ones. It's a real mix of things. Yeah, they've still got a nice flavour. The fish tastes like it's just been caught today. The chips in this are not really the best. I like these containers, to be honest with you. I know plastics are not the way forward, but we have got the beans here. Now, for a lot of people who've had fish fingers, chips and beans, beans are a staple with fish and chips. They're okay. It tastes like a baked bean. The liquid with them is a little bit too wet, but they've got a nice taste. Let's go with the curry sauce. Well, it's a little gelatinous. It's quite mild. There is a little kick there, but it is quite a mild one. There's a sweetness, there's a little kick, but not enough for my liking. Okay, up to now.
Yeah, I love the fish.
It's nice, isn't it?
Loved it.
Let's go with these mushy peas. So how do they look? They taste okay. A little bland. Try it with a bit of the fish. This fish is lovely though. Look at that thickness there. There's something else going on there, and I can't work it out.
Bill bacon. I don't know that. It appears in the gallery. In the bottom left right corner.
Like I say, let me know if I'm on this right track here. Couldn't get anywhere near some of the other chippies we tried yesterday, and it was heaving. The town was heaving. That's their chicken and mushroom pie. They've made it in-house, and they've actually put a bit of gravy on there. I think it's gravy, I'm not sure. Which can be seen as often strange. That's a really tasty pie. It comes with the chips and that bit of gravy in there, I think. I mean, you probably asked for without gravy, because not a lot of people I know will have gravy with a chicken and mushroom pie. The chips seem a little more plump in this. Lovely pastry. Plenty of your chicken going on. Plenty of your mushroom. It's all in there. But a few other foods there too. Look at this. That looks heavy. That's a Caesar salad. So for the vegetarians, Well, for anyone who doesn't fancy a piece of chips,
Chicken in it.
it's got chicken in it. And look at that. If you just dig underneath a little bit there, you've got plenty of lettuce going on. You know, I might take that up my wife and eat that myself. That is delicious. That's gorgeous. Right, okay, we're at Diana's Fish and Chips in or near Torrevieja. I was looking around then for some signs. There's that many smaller places around.
Beef fritter scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fried dreams, keeping chippies alive, that's my team. So here's to the chippies, let's keep them alive. A heritage feast we need to survive. From batter to chips, I'm here to explore. Oh, nah, 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 I'm the Chippy Tour. Oh, nah, 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 it's the Chippy Tour. Cruising the coast, can't ignore. With every bite, I'm loving it more. Saving the chippies, that's what I'm for. Yo, I hit the road, got salt in my...
I'm going to get straight into this. My wife's got a jacket potato and some salad, totally different. And tomorrow we'll probably do something similar. Hope you can pick up my voice okay, because it is loud around here. So we'll have to see, won't we? So let's have a look at this fish. First off, this is their cod. Check out the batter. Now inside the chippy, it's not really a chippy, I suppose. It's all kinds of things. It's a bar, it's breakfast, burgers, I think, all kinds of different food. And it seems like the fish and chips, although they might take pride of place on the menu, well, they're not really. They're sort of to one side and a bit on the other side. It's not really a chippy as such. There's no real board. You can look at the menu sheets on the tables. The batter, although it looks light, it's not really. It's holding on to the oil. And the flesh is a little moist. You know, like it's just thawed. Yeah, quite bland. Like it's been frozen for some time. But, you know, I don't know that. I'm only speculating. Let's have a look at the thick end. Like I say, there's no taste in the batter. There's no taste, really, in the fish. But it's a nice sized piece of fish. Let's get some vinegar on here. Right. And some salt. Let's give it some flavour. Everything's very, very bland. As far as the fish goes, yeah, it's still, like I say, it's got that just thawed texture. Holding a lot of water and very low on taste. What's this big chunky bit of batter going on here? move it. Let's have a look at these chips. There's plenty of them. They're nice and plump. You know the way I like them. Oh, God. Someone there, I might have looked a little bit angry on the image there yet, but I've probably not finished with this guy. He pulled in off the street here. You could get two cars next to each other. He drove in on a zebra crossing. Along the zebra crossing. He pointed at me, he gave me a dirty look, pointed to his wife, pointed again to this setup, while going super slow at the back of the camera. What's wrong with people? I'm not a bad person. I'm really not. You know, I go out of my way. I don't go out of my way. I say hi. I'm nice to people. But anyway, I don't want that idiot to affect this review. My mind's pretty much already set on this review, so there's not a lot he can do. But I do like the chips. I like a frozen chip, though. You know, the steak cut chips that you get. Let's have a little try of the curry sauce. A little fruity. It's still got a bit of a kick. I hope you don't ever have to see me like that again. Sometimes it can't be helped. I'm the mildest person you're ever likely to meet. I really am. You know, I'm so easygoing, it's unbelievable. I help anyone whenever I can. But every now and then, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of you are the same way, you get someone that gets you back right up. And then you let it go. And then you get another person who gets you back right up. But now that person is going to get what the first one, a little bit of what the first person should have got, on top of what he's getting. Anyway, enough of that. I'm enjoying the sunshine here. Let's have a look at these mushy peas. The mushy peas are okay. Try it with a bit of a chip. Nice chips. If I was to cook a chip from home and I was only using the oven, it would be the crinkle cut ones just until they were soft. Not crispy so much, just until they were soft. There's a good portion of chips. There's still plenty more in there. I'm going to have a fish butty. Let's see if I can eat this thing on a piece of bread. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit of curry sauce on. So we've got a fish and curry butty. Let's give this a go. Still, if not for the curry, there'd be nothing. There'd be no flavour at all. Other than you can pick up the salt, pick up a bit of the vinegar. You wouldn't know the fish was on it. It's like a filler, which is a real shame because it looked like a decent sized piece of fish. Okay. So that's that. Right, okay, we're at Quesada, fish and chips.
Veins from London to Scotland through sunshine and rain, fish and chips in my hand, it's a noble quest, supporting the classics, yeah, I'm doing my best. Met a bloke in Troon with a tempura squid, a castle in Wales where I had my bid, from mushy piece to battered Mars bar, a culinary Johnny, I'm a food rock star, on the Chippy Tour, tasting it all.
It's fabulous. The staff, helpful, friendly, professional. It was all good. But I'm going to try my wife's first, which is, we've got rice. I'm going to take a little bit of that. Only as a bit of a sample. And here's the fish curry. Let's have a look. If there's any prawns in it, they're mine. Right there, all nervous. I can see one straight away. Can you see that curry in there? Look at that. How thick and gorgeous does that look? Do you want any of these prawns?
Yeah.
So I've got the prawns. There's 2 there that I can see, maybe 3. Okay, because my wife comes out in all kinds of lumps and bumps. And I think we're done. Oh no, there's one there. All right, so let's give this a go. I'm going to go straight in for this prawn. That is nice. Someone else just passed up a minute ago and left us with a couple of other ideas for some other chippies too. They do like this one. You struggle to get these in the UK and a lot of chippies and saveloys. Never mind abroad. Not the best saveloy I've had, but it's the firmest, it's the meatiest saveloy I've had. Let's try it with a bit of this curry. Curry sauce, it's got all sorts going on. Look at that. That is a really nice curry sauce. Right, so let's go with the large haddock. How's that? Look at that. You wouldn't think we were in Spain, would you? That looks absolutely incredible. That batter. We've even got skin on. Now, a lot of people don't like skin on. I don't mind skin on because it adds a little bit more flavour to the flesh. There's some oils, some juices out of the skin into the meat. And it's a nice piece. Look at that. That batter, super light. I wouldn't be expecting anybody to be serving your special beef dripping and all that kind of stuff going on, because then let's not push it, eh? So look at that. This batter's delicious. Now let's get some of these chips over the top of it. When you see chips like this going on my plate, you know I'm going to like them. You know it. Let's get some vinegar on here. Then some salt. Whenever we ask at the counter, we only ever ask for some salt on. So we put our own vinegar on. This is good. Let's check out these mushy peas. Look at them. Oh, look. Oh, they're thick. They're thick. They are really thick. And you know what? I like them when they're mildly seasoned, or not seasoned at all. Because I could always add my own salt. I could always add my own pepper. A little bit of vinegar. Or it can actually go with some of the other fish. I prefer it that way than over seasoned. I don't mind a little mint in it, but I don't like too much mint in it. Right, okay, we're at RV's Traditional Fish and Chips, and we're in the Campersol area, which is we're on the other side of Murcia now. Not too far from the coast, but further along than we were when we were in Torrevieja. So it's like 70 miles we've actually done today to get here.
Beef fritter scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fish, battered sausage on a roll. Fish cakes so good they'll nourish your soul. Squid so crispy, prawns in a crunch. A battered mushroom makes the perfect brunch. Deep fried pizza, yeah, wacky delight. Curry sauce pouring tartar in sight. But every sharp story, it cuts kinda deep. As chippies fade away, it's hard not to weep. Oh, the landscapes I see, the people I meet. Seaside towns, cobble streets under my feet. The ups and downs, but I'll never despair. Gotta cherish these treasures, handle with care. On the Chippy Tour, tasting it all. Beef fritters, scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fried dreams, keep it.
Right, okay, so let's get cracking. Fabulous inside, staff were lovely, plenty of parking space right outside. Dogs barking as usual. That's all we get is dogs barking and wind. Not wind, wind. So it's right on the corner over here. And it's set out like a chippy with the boards and everything else. You've got the pickled eggs and all that kind of stuff going on. You've got it all set up and it's nice. It's nice to see. It's lovely to see, actually. So let's get cracking on here. We're going to go with, first off, we've got a hull patty. Would you believe it? I've had one hull patty in my life. And that was near Hull. And that was at Tapas. Ooh, it's unusual looking, whether that's the traditional Hull patty or not. These people are from, the owners are from, they used to have a chippy in the Isle of Wight. Look at that. You'd expect that parsley and the potato with that kind of stuffing flavour. But it looks great to start with. Yeah. That is delicious. And the one that I had in Cleethorpes at Papa's, the biggest chippy in the world at the time, well, that wasn't so great. It really wasn't. No, I didn't like that at all. Someone said to me, well, check out Hull proper and go for a proper Hull patty, which I'll do at some point. But if it's anything like that, I'll be made up. Leave that for a minute. We've got scraps. I'm going to do something special like I always do with them. You know what? I'm going to leave everything else. I'm going to go straight for the fish. We've got haddock. This is a large haddock, and this has been the cheapest place so far. That looks kind of special, doesn't it? Batter, nice and light and crisp. And delicious. Let's break into this bit here. Look at that. That is some thick haddock. Nice little sweetness to it. Not the most flavoursome haddock I've had, but it's enough. I'm going to dip some of this batter in this curry so I can get a taste of it. It's another sweet curry, sweetish curry. But it's nice. It's a lovely chunky fillet. The batter's lovely and light and a lovely colour. Okay, I've asked for a small chips. And that's a small chips. It's not that small, actually. And they look great. You know how I like them. Golden like this. Thick. Not burnt. And potatoey, if that makes sense. Some salt on here. They're good. You know what? They're the sort of chips where you can just go in and ask for a bag of chips. I used to do in the old days. Walk along, eating the chips out of the bag like that. Nothing else, just the chips. They're the ones. One more. So what have we got in here? This is going to surprise you. And that's going to surprise you, the next one. I asked for a battered saveloy. And there it is. Look at the colour of that. There's your battered saveloy. And I'm going to have a little, I don't know which one to give my wife. Passed through, not the other half, but some of this. And she's not a fan of saveloy. But the lady in the shop said, once they've got the batter on it, it becomes a little bit different. And yeah, no doubt. You know, like when you put cheese, a cheese sandwich or cheese on toast, there's a difference, isn't there? Well, she's just gone, no, not for me. Just doesn't like it. I do. This isn't another saveloy. This is a white pudding. A white pudding. Quite a Scottish thing. An Irish thing. A cooked thing. It doesn't look very white, does it? But my wife just took off with a bit. It didn't look very white. I've had white pudding where it was anemic. Maybe because this has probably been cooked before it was battered, which is often the case. My wife's just taken away a bit there. She loves white pudding. Let's give it a thumbs up. That is nice. So we've had the saveloy. We've had, which I've never had in batter before. And let's just break a bit of that batter off. See, it's a saveloy. In fact, I'm going to break all the batter off that. You got to think of my health. Get that curry. And this is what you do with your scraps. Same with your mucky peas. Scraps here in Spain. Oh, on one of them little hat type things. It's little paper trays. I love them. I love them. There's all kinds of stuff going on in here. So I'll put a few bits and bobs, shake them into my curry. Oh, there's bits of chips and everything going on. All sorts. Mix them in. Those who think scraps can be a little bit greasy, throw them in your curry. Wife's just come back for some more of that white pudding. Disappeared into the woods here, into the olive grove, I think it is. Yeah. Right, okay, just over my left shoulder here is our final chippy along the Costa Blanca. And just past Murcia too.
Chippy's alive, that's my team. So here's to the chippies, let's keep them alive. A heritage feast we need to survive. From batter to chips, I'm here to explore. Oh, nah, 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 I'm the Chippy Tour. I'm the Chippy Tour, tasting it all. Pea fritter scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fried dreams, keeping chippies alive, that's my team. So here's to the chippies, let's keep them alive. A heritage feast we need to survive.
It's been lovely. Look at this weather. Yeah, sure, there's a few little clouds in the sky, but it's not rained. And it's been a nice cool breeze to go on top. I say cool breeze, a breeze will do. Nice breeze on top to go with it. Our favourite place up to now, not Chippy-wise, this is the Chip. It's called the Chippy, and it was a recommendation, as were many of the others. And I like to go off the recommendations. But our favourite place where we think we could settle was a place called Ciudad Quesada. Now, we did like a few other places, Jávea and Calais, quite a few other places. But for pure community, now you'll find that people go, oh yeah, but you know, you're going to hang around with all the Brits in a British area. Well, people do that, don't they? You get the French hanging around with the French, you get the Germans with the Germans, the Spanish with the Spanish. You get people who can relate to other people, maybe even live near them back home, who want to be part of that too. And that's just the way it is. It's that community. And no matter where you live in any other part of the world, you've got people from India coming over to the UK and living in a predominantly Indian area. And the same with lots of them, Pakistani areas. And I think that's the way we would go if we were to live here, which we would love to do. But we've got just a few more years left to go before our retirement. So really want to work on the Chippy Tour, because even if we live here in Spain on the Costa Blanca, there's nothing to stop us from continuing the Chippy Tour, going back to the UK for months on end, checking dozens and dozens of chippies out, going somewhere else, going to, I don't know, Italy, to Australia, going somewhere else around the world to check out how they do their fish and chips and what sort of culture they've got behind that. You know, it'd be really interesting because it's here to stay. Fish and chips, regardless. People say, oh, the prices of this, prices of shopping these days, prices of gas and electric these days. Sure, that you know everything's gone up. Costs have gone up. Small businesses like Chippies, I know, are being hammered, unfortunately. I do worry about the fish and chip industry. That's why I set up the Chippy Tour. That's why we review incognito, find out which ones are the best. I'm rabbiting on a little bit here. I can't help myself. Sue's in the Chippy, getting our fish and chips. They don't know they're being reviewed because the Chippy's at the back, from way back from the window, right round the corner. And Sue will keep them busy up there until we've been served, and then she'll come over here and do this. Right, okay, we've got all sorts going on here. I have to be more gentle, won't I? What's that? It's like a tray. We've got a little bit of tartar. We've got their in-house coleslaw, in-house mushy peas. Okay. We've got big fish, but hang on a second. What have we got in here? We've got chips, and they do look nice. They do look nice. We'll put that to one side there. This must be the in-house Thai fish cake. And they both look very different. Oh, it's just the way they are. So let's have a little cut at one of them in half. How did we end up with two?
It's two in the portion.
Two in a portion?
Yeah.
Well, straight away, there's fish. There's a little bit of skin to show us that. Chunky bits of fish. Potato. Let's bust it open. Let's have a look at their coleslaw. Well, that looks chunky, doesn't it? You know what? I'm surprised at the... Well, I shouldn't be. Surprised at the quality of the chippies. There's got nice chunks of vegetables in there. Back to this fish cake. There's all kinds of things going on in there. There's chilli, some lemongrass, some parsley. It's a nice crispy outer on that. Yeah, that's probably one of the best Thai fish cakes I've had. So let's get stuck into this stuff. I've asked for the lard cod. And that is large. It's holding a bit of the oil on first glance. Yeah, it's just holding on to that oil a bit. But it's got a nice flavour to it. It can be very hard to review these chippies abroad because people like things different ways. They want to taste from home. They want to taste of fish and chips. And other things too, like battered. Anything battered, to be honest with you. Black pudding, white pudding, red pudding, pineapple, anything. I break open this thick a bit at the end here. Look how thick that is. That's a nice bit of cod, that. That's a nice bit of cod in there. There's some more salt and vinegar on here. Look at it. And you do have options for having your cooked fish. Your fish cooked here. You can have it floured, lightly floured. Now this fillet has been battered. And the fillet is basically steamed. It's not fried. It's steamed inside the batter. The batter hardens quickly. And that leaves a crust around the fish and it's steamed. So you can have it battered, you can have it floured, and in which case it won't get that steaming. It'll shrink, it'll pull in. So the same size fillet will look smaller, more than likely, thicker, fatter, still getting the same fish, amount of protein and everything else. And sometimes I do like a floured fish. You can also have it poached if you wish. Let's give some of this tartar sauce a go. That's okay. I'd like it to have been a little tartier. With more of a taste of the capers. And more of it, because it is nice, like I say. Let's have a little look at the mushy peas. Let's have a little look at that. Okay. Give it a bit of a stir up. There we go. With that thick pea soupy kind of texture, flavour. Yeah, that's okay. It's a decent sized portion too. Now they're not holding the oil in any way. They're a nice chip. Let's get some more salt on there. I want to make the most of this because we've got 3.5 hour drive now towards the centre of Spain on our way home. You know I like mine paler. Not paler than that, but pale. With a nice firm inside without being too firm. Crispy edges on them. In about 4 days we'll have made it home to Cheshire. See you there.
Oh, na na na, it's the Chippy Tour, cruising the coast, can't ignore. With every bite I'm loving it more. Saving the chippies, that's what I'm for. Yo, I hit the road, got salt in my veins. From London to Scotland, through sunshine and rain. Fish and chips in my hand, it's a noble quest. Supporting the classics, yeah, I'm doing my best. Met a bloke in Troon with a tempura squid. A castle in Wales where I had my bid. From mushy piece of battered Mars bar. A culinary Johnny, I'm a food rock star. I'm the Chippy Tour, tasting it all. Beef fritter scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fried dreams. Keeping chippies alive, that's my team. Biggest fish, battered sausage on a roll. Fish cakes so good they'll nourish your soul. Squid so crispy, prawns in a crunch. A battered mushroom makes the perfect brunch. Deep fried pizza, yeah, wacky delight. Curry sauce pouring tartar in sight. But every sharp story, it cuts kinda deep. As chippies fade away, it's hard not to weep. Oh, the landscapes I see, the people I meet. Seaside towns, cobble streets under my feet. The ups and downs, but I'll never despair. Gotta cherish these treasures, handle with care. On the Chippy Tour, tasting it all. Beef fritter scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fried dreams. Keeping chippies alive, that's my team. So here's to the chippies, let's keep them alive. A heritage feast we need to survive. From batter to chips, I'm here to explore. Oh, na na na, I'm the Chippy Tour. I'm the Chippy Tour, tasting it all. Beef fritter scraps, yeah, I answer the call. Savory scallops, deep fried dreams. Keeping chippies alive, that's my team. So here's to the chippies, let's keep them alive. A heritage feast we need to survive. From batter to chips, I'm here to explore.